Hey guys, today we're going to talk about mean absolute deviation. So the first thing that we need to talk about is, what does that stand for? It's the average distance between each data value and the mean. Okay, so what is it? It's just an average. So we're going to calculate it in the same way that we would calculate the mean. There are a couple extra steps. And then what does it tell you? It tells you how far on average all values are from the middle. And then it also helps you determine if the mean is useful. So a small MAD means that it's close to the mean. A large MAD means that it's probably not relevant. Okay, so we're going to look at the steps that are used to calculate the MAD. So the first thing that we need to do is calculate that mean. The second thing, we're going to take all of our data points and we're basically going to subtract them from that mean. But we're going to use absolute values, so we don't have to worry about negatives or anything like that. We're just looking for the distance between those two values. And then the third one, find the average of those distances. So we're essentially going to take the mean, the average of those differences that we calculated in number 2. So let's take a look at example 1. So we have student A and student B. Okay, so student A, we're going to calculate that mean first. So I'm going to take 85 plus 89 plus 82 plus 78 plus 89. And I'm going to divide it by 5 because there are 5 numbers in my data set. So when I do that, I would get 423 divided by 5. Which gives me a mean of 84.6. Okay, so the next part, I do want to show you how we are calculating these differences. So I'm just going to show you in my calculator. So if I am looking at my mean, which is 84.6, and I'm looking at that first number, I'm going to take 85 and subtract 84.6. And I would get 0.4, okay? And I'm going to do that for every number. So for example, the next one I would do 89 and 84.6, and I would get 4.4. Then the one after that, you have 82 and 84.6. Remember, you're just looking for the absolute value. So you would just take the larger number and subtract that smaller number just to get the distance. So then we're looking at 2.6. So I would continue on doing that. So the next one that I would have would be 6.6 and then 4.4. Okay. So from there, you're going to take the average of those differences. So we still have 5 numbers. I'm going to add them all up and divide by 5. So when I add them all up, I would get 18.4, and I would divide by 5, which gives me 3.68. Okay, so my mean was here, and my MAD was here. So let's go ahead and do that for student B. So we're going to take 70 plus 85 plus 72 plus 95 plus 83. Once again, add them up, divide by 5. So when I do that, I get 405, and I'm going to divide by 5, which gives me 81. So that's my mean. So now I'm going to take each of those numbers and subtract from 81 to find the differences. So the first one, 81 minus 70, would give me 11. Then I would get 4. Then I would get 9. Then I would get 14 and 2. Okay. All right. So from there, I'm going to once again add them up and divide by 5. Okay, and when I do that, I would get 40 divided by 5, which just gives me 8. So my MAD would be 8. So if you're looking at the more consistent test taker, you're looking for one who has a smaller MAD, so student A would be more consistent. Because the MAD is closer to the mean. It's a smaller MAD. All right, so the next one, we are going to look at sports. So it says the table shows the points scored by Lucas and Peyton during the last 5 home basketball games. Calculate the MAD for each boy's points and then answer the question. Okay, so we're going to calculate the mean and then the MAD. Sorry. So if I add all of these points up for Lucas, I would get 22. Okay. There are 5 data points, so I'm going to take 22 and divide by 5. And then that would give me a mean of 4.4. Okay, so for Peyton, if I add all of these up, I would get 25. I'm going to divide by 5 because there are 5 data points in my set. And I would get a mean of 5. Okay, so now we're going to do the MAD. So what I need to do is I need to subtract 4.4 from each of these. So for the first one, 4.4 minus 4 gives me 0.4. I have 0.4 again. I would have 0.6. Then I would have 0.4. And then 0.6. So that's all for Lucas because I'm looking at these data points. Okay, so when I add them all up, I would get a total of 2.4. And then I'm going to divide that by 5 because there are 5 points in my data set. So that would give me a total of 0.48 for my MAD. All right, so this is all for Lucas. And now we're looking at the MAD for Peyton. So we're going to subtract 5 from each of these to figure out those differences. So the first one's going to be 14 because 19 and 5 has a difference of 14. So I'm going to do 14 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4. And once again, I just subtracted each of those from 5. So when I add all of those up, I get a total of 28. Now I'm going to take 28 and divide by 5 because I have 5 numbers in my data set. And that gives me a MAD of 5.6. All right. So now that we've done all of this work, we can answer these questions. So the first question, who scored the most points? Well, we're going to look at the total. So we have a total of 22 and a total of 25. So Peyton scored the most points, looking just at raw points. Which boy had the greater average? So now we're looking at the mean. Peyton had a larger mean. Whoops. Peyton. Okay. And then the last one, based on MAD, which boy do you think is the better player? Well, Lucas has a smaller MAD, so he is going to be the more consistent player because it's closer to the mean. All right. If you guys have any more questions, please make sure that you make note of it in your WISC, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks.